If you routinely find yourself asking, how do I actually upgrade my character here in Path of Exile? Everyone always says I can upgrade my character. How do I actually do it? If you ask yourself that all the time, if you find yourself just kind of like meandering around the game, just killing monsters mindlessly, not really knowing what your next goal to work towards actually is, this is your video. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I want you to do is actually open up Path of Building. This is not Path of Building. Before you do that, actually log out of Path of Exile. This is pretty important. So what that's going to do is it's going to update your character to the Path of Exile servers. What you're going to do is go into the top left corner, import, export, build, type in your account name, not your individual character's name, the account that you use to sign in on pathofexile.com, that account name. Type it in here, and then click Start. This will import all of your characters in every single league ever, and you're going to click on the current league, obviously, and then import your character. If you don't see this list, if it doesn't retrieve your characters, go to your Path of Exile profile and just change your settings to public. You need to publicly show your profile. It should be really easy to find it on the PoE main site. Okay, anyway, you're going to import these things right here, Passive Tree and Jewels, Items, and Skills. This brings in your entire character into Path of Building. The only exception is you have to configure things based on your current build, so I know what I'm doing, so I have Intimidate here. I have Endurance Charters, I'm playing Juggernaut. I'm Fortified because I have Fortified passives. Rage, we're going to type in a big number. So in this case, 47 Rage is the maximum that I have because I have plus 10 Rage here and then plus 7 max Rage from that. So the base is 30. I have plus 17, so 47 Rage, even though I typed in this big old number here. I have Warcry recently, and I've done, like, let's just say 4 Warcries recently. So let's go here to spikes. We're going to do some overlapping damage. This is basically my entire character in the game right here in Path of Building in just a couple of clicks. And we're going to include this in full DPS. So if you're using a skill that hits multiple times, toggle this option here, include in full DPS. Then on your main skill, just however many times you think it hits things, just bump this number up. I'm going to go very low here in Earth Shatter, just have 2 spikes hitting the same enemy. So this is basically my current character. Now, what I'm going to do is here on the passive skill tree, go down to the bottom right hand corner and click this button right here, Show Node Power. And then in this drop down menu, change this to either full DPS. So if you have something that overlap hits, you're going to toggle full DPS on the skill. You can use that. Otherwise, just use combined DPS. So I'm going to click full DPS here. So what this is going to do is going to load nodes on the passive tree. You see it's a little heat map, right? The brighter the node, the more efficient that node is. We're going to click Show Power Report. So now that it's done loading, you have a list of every single passive on the skill tree, and they're in order, if you click per point, which you should do, of efficiency, essentially. So how many points to get to this passive and how much damage do you get per passive point spent? So in this case, if I were to go for the Harpooner node right here, which gives us an Impale chance. So it says Impale chance and Impale effect, essentially. For 4 points, it's giving me 56,000 damage, or what you can do is you spec into it and then go here. So see at the very bottom, so minus 13% full DPS or minus 3.3% per point. That's really what we're looking for. So I would say 3% damage per point is low. You want like probably minimum of 4 and even like upwards of 5% sometimes. Those are very good passive points. So what this is basically telling me is that, hey, my passive tree is pretty dang efficient already. Remember, this list is going to be relative to your current passive tree. So the next thing, if you don't have a very efficient passive tree and you're like, what the heck is going on here? The next thing that you probably want to do is open up your internet tab, go to PoE.Ninja. And then on the top here, make sure you're in the current league, which is Settlers of Caligar is the current league. Whatever the current league is, click Builds. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to search your main skill here. In this case, I'm running Earth Shatter. So clicking Earth Shatter, I'm playing the Juggernaut. So now, every Earth Shatter Juggernaut in the game is on this list that's above level, from level 10 to level 100. So basically everyone that's playing Earth Shatter. What I'm going to do is click the DPS tab here. So now it's sorting by DPS. So what I can do is I can open up just the top like 10 guys or something. Just bam, 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 bam. I'm going to look at what these guys are doing and I'm going to synthesize it with my own build. And I'm going to make decisions based on, so like this guy, for example, he's running the Combs command, brand new helmet. And it says, nearby corpses explode when you Warcry, dealing their life as physical damage. So he's just using it for a little bit extra damage, probably the Warcry speed as well. Not very important. But if we look here, Ralakesh's Impatience plus Arn's Anguish. Arn's Anguish is a crazy strong belt. So it replaces your Endurance charges with Brutal charges, and each Brutal charge gives you 3% chance to deal triple damage. But you might be thinking, hey, if you're replacing Endurance charges on the Juggernaut, that's pretty bad, right? I don't want to do that. Ralakesh's Impatience comes in, and this says count as having your maximum number of Endurance charges. And all this belt says is that when you gain Endurance charges, you're actually just gaining Brutal charges instead. but this doesn't gain endurance charges. You just have your maximum endurance charges. So this combo right here, very good. But if we open up PoE.trade here and type in Ralakesh's Impatience, you can see that these are not very cheap. About 25 divine orbs for these boots. So this guy clearly has some money, so we probably don't want to follow exactly what he's doing. So maybe we go over to like the 6th or the 7th guy here. This guy's much more reasonable. Look at this guy. All rare items except for the Belt of the Deceiver. 3 jewels. How is this guy even on the list for DPS? What the heck is this? But for example, say we want to look at this guy's build. We can click this little button here, copy path of building code. I'm going to go here, right click. It'll paste it right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Here is this guy's build. I can now look at his passive tree, let's see what he's doing, look at all of his items, and just synthesize what someone else is doing and try and fit it into your own build in some capacity. And now, last but not least, talking about actually upgrading the character. Like, what do you do when you actually find something you want to do? How do you make it a reality on your character? Let me log back into the game here. And what I'm going to do is show you what I would do. For a specific example. So in this case, we're about day 3 into the league and I've upgraded my gear quite a bit, but this one ring in particular is not the best. So what I'm going to do is just take this piece of gear off and pretend like it doesn't exist. Now, the first thing you want to check, are your resistances still capped? In this case, no, they are not capped. Put it back on just so we can make sure. So we're uncapping our cold res and we're uncapping our chaos res. I think I need 2% lightning res as well. Yeah, I do. I have to find 2% lightning res somewhere, so we'll figure that out. So what I can do is my fire res is perfect. I just need a little bit of chaos res, a little bit of cold res, and a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of lightning res. I think I need 79. So I'm now going to go over here, back to PoE.trade, and I'm now going to search for any ring that fills these missing stats. So again, I'm missing cold res. My max is 79, so I need 34 cold resistance at a bare minimum. So I'm going to go pseudo cold total res. If you just type in cold res specifically, not with this pseudo mod, it's just going to search for exactly 34 cold res. You can get cold res from a multitude of sources, like cold and lightning res, cold and chaos res, all res, stuff like that. So you want the pseudo mod for sure. So I'm going to go cold res. I need a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of lightning. That really sucks to have to type this in because this might constrain our search results. If I could type lightning, that'd be great. All right, I need literally 2 lightning res. Chaos resistance. I don't need capped chaos, but it'd be very nice. My capped is going to be 75, I'm pretty sure. Yep, no boost there. So we need 19 chaos resistance. And then we just want life. And last but not least, this non-channeling skills have minus to mana cost is a crafted modifier. It's a prefix. If you just hold the Alt key, you can see. So I would prefer to have an open prefix because if I get this ring and it already has non-channeling, it's going to be very expensive. So this looks good to me. I'm going to set a max buyout of 100 chaos. I think I have 100 chaos. We'll see. And I'm going to sort by life. This is what I like to do. Instead of typing in a specific modifier for life, notice how I kept this blank. This is basically just saying, oh, I want a ring with life on it in general. I don't care how much life. And then what I do is I sort by total life. So first ring we see 50 chaos, no open prefix. Not quite what I'm looking for. 45 chaos, no open prefix. Not quite what I'm looking for. No open prefix. Here we go. Open prefix, 14 chaos. I just found the ring I need for 14 chaos. Boom. There we go. If this guy sells it to me, we are golden. So again, I want that open prefix modifier, and I can tell right here because there's no, there's only 1 P, right? P equals prefix. And you can have up to 3. So 3 S's, 3 suffixes, it's full. 1 P, only 1 prefix. It has an option for actually 2 more prefixes, which could be interesting. So here we go. Boom. For 14 chaos, I just upgraded my ring. It really is that simple. So now I'm actually going to do something a little spicy. Because this has 2 open prefixes, I actually can upgrade this a little bit further. So there's another website. I'll leave all the links in the description to these websites that I'm talking about, by the way. This is PoEDB.tw. It's a very weird name, but it's the PoE database for all these modifiers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to jewelry, rings, and this shows me a list of every single modifier that can roll on rings, which is pretty crazy. Now, there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff to parse. All you're going to do here is look at your modifiers. So I'm looking for prefixes. All we're looking for is the red number on the right here. This is the weighting of that modifier. The higher this number is, the more likely it is to roll. So for example, when you roll a ring and you're looking for prefixes, if you have an open prefix, it's going to roll mana at a 21% chance, essentially. So mana is by far the highest here. See, it has 13,000 weighting. The rest of these, 11K is the closest one, which is ES. So what we're going to do now is, because this has 2 open prefixes, if this only had 1 open prefix, I would just craft my prefix on, call it a day, but it has 2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to craft mana. It doesn't matter what tier. In fact, you can just use the lowest tier for the least amount of currency. So now we're saying, okay, this ring already has mana on it. It doesn't matter if it's crafted or not. It has mana on it, therefore it can't roll again. So now we're going to take our Exalted Orb and just pray. Here we go. Well, hey, you win some and you lose some. What can I say? It technically is an upgrade. technically this ring is better with 1 to 2 added physical damage to attacks. Unfortunately, that is the lowest tier in the game, tier 6. If it rolled tier 1, I'd be very, very happy. But hey, I mean, it's still technically an upgrade. So now what I'm going to do is, because that's a crafted modifier, I can easily just come over here, craft my final modifier. Non-channeling skills have minus mana cost. -6 is probably fine. Yeah, that one is level 7 anyway. So boom, now we have upgraded our ring. Let's check our resistances just to make sure. 82, 79, 79, 75. It really is that simple. So that's how you make a specific upgrade, like trading people, obviously. But again, what you're going to do is go over to PoE.ninja, link in the description below. Go to builds, type in your skill. Like say you're playing, what's the popular? Lightning Strike is very popular right now. Lightning Strike. You're probably playing Slayer. Sort by DPS. I wouldn't use the top. Like, these top numbers are going to be crazy. They're going to be, like, super expensive or just, like, straight up, like, lying to you with POB numbers. So we're going to go, like, click, like, I don't know, scroll down a little bit. Click, like, this guy, that guy, that guy. Just go through these characters. See what they're doing. This guy's doing Makuaddle's Macantation. That's a really weird shield. Just look at what they're doing. Try and parse, like, all these guys. All 3 of these guys or 4 of these guys are doing something different. I can just tell by their gear alone, right? So you'll be able to get a lot of information off of PoE.ninja. Just take your time. Don't be intimidated. Take your time, one step at a time. Like, this looks cool. If this looks cool on a character, cool. Look at that more. Go on the wiki, research the modifier, see what it does. You find one specific thing, and then you see if you can upgrade it. If you can't, then go to the next thing. Rinse and repeat. I know this is a pretty fast-paced video, off-the-cuff style, you know, trying to give you those concrete examples, but it really is that simple. I cannot overstate the power of, number 1, importing your character into Path of Building and using the power nodes on the skill tree, and number 2, more importantly, going to PoE.ninja to see what other people are doing, and then trying to, you know, save up for one of their big-ticket upgrades, so to speak. Those 2 things alone will point you absolutely in the right direction, and you'll have a lot more fun, exponentially more fun, playing Path of Exile when you have that concrete goal to work after. Anyway, I hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I read all of them, I promise. You can also check out my stream at twitch.tv/WoolieGaming. Come say hi. I'm streaming Path of Exile quite a bit with this new league. I'm loving it a lot. So come say hi on the stream as well if you have any more questions. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.